side of the cross slide. That's looking pretty good now. Now the next piece we're going to make is going to be this standoff for the front of the scale here. So I have a block of steel. But this block of steel that's roughly way bigger, obviously. But you know what we're going to do is we're going to put some Dykem on this. We're going to lay it out. I have a drawing that I made. Took some accurate measurements. Got this all worked out. So we'll put some Dykem on here, and now we'll lay it all out and get ready for milling it down to size. Alright. Let this dry for a second, and then we'll bring it over to the granite table and we'll lay it out. So here's a basic little chicken scratch drawing that I did of the piece that we're going to make. This is going to be the standoff. So the scale is going to rest right here, and it's going to go out that way. You know, the slot will basically be right here, and these are the two holes right here that are already inside my compound. And if we get this and we were to flip it up, you can see the offset. So the compound would rest here, and then the scale would go that way. So let's take this over now to the granite table and we'll lay it out. Yep, that's on 0. So the first measurement we're going to do is going to be 1/4 inch. Alright, that's going to be the thickness of the area where the screws are going to be. So let's bring this back down to 0. Make sure it's... Alright, so 1, 2, 50, lock her down. And okay. Alright, our next measurement here is 3/4 of an inch. Now our next our next line we're going to scribe is 1 inch 115 thousandths. So let's start again from the bottom. Let's go up 115. So there's that. Now this is going to be the overall finished dimension of the part. Alright. I don't know if the camera could pick that up, but we're going to be cutting the whole piece off at this. Actually, let me scribe the whole thing because we're going to cut it all off. Okay. Alright, we got our piece basically all laid out. Let's go over to the mill now and start milling this down to size. Alright, what we're doing is we're taking a milling cut off the top to bring it down to size. size will be 1 inch, 1/15. I have a visual line here, and I'm just working to it. Take a file to this, take the burrs off. Alright, what we're going to be milling now is this last little slot. So what I need to do is I want to pick up a reference line. I have a line right here. It's hard to see with the through the camera. But I'm going to pick up this line right here and set my stop, and that will be that. Lock our x-axis. Oh, in 1/1000th for a little bit of a cleanup now on the shoulder. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, where the screw is going to lie on this, it kind of intersects with this piece, this thicker part of the standoff, and that's really because of the way the bolt pattern, laid out. It's an existing 2 holes in there, so I really couldn't you know, I couldn't space these holes any better in relation to where this thicker part was. So what I did is I went in with a 3/8 end mill, and I just kind of plowed through to leave enough clearance space for the head of this this little machine bolt here. So now we're going to just drill the through hole. Bring this down. All right, now we got to go to the next coordinate. Lock our table, and that looks good. Alright, let's check it out and see what we got. Now I can't get in there with the deburr. I need to find something really tiny and smaller to go in and just hand deburr it. But you know what? Looking at it, it looks okay. So that screw will be buried just slightly, like that. Alright, let's go over to the lathe and we'll put it on and we'll see how it's fitting. Alright, I got some acetone and I cleaned off the part, removed all the dicum. And we're just going to give this a quick little test fit and see if our measurements were accurate. The bolt holes line up. Come on. Alright, look at that. Nice. Real nice. Nice surface to bolt the scale to. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a transfer punch. I'm going to mark the hole. We're going to take this off. We'll drill it. We'll tap it. And then we can, you know, finish the bolt up. Now, what I want to do is I want to mark the top portion of the slot. Okay? The screw, there's a slot here, obviously. And we're down. Okay, we're down against our stop here, our little spacer that we have here. So I want to mark the top of it, and it'll allow this thing to move up and down if I need to adjust it at all. So I'm just going to keep our spacer underneath. Press down, and I'm going to lift up and hit it. That's it. And there you can see the little center punch mark. We're going to put this up in the mill now, and then we're going to drill it and tap it. We've got our hole drilled and tapped now. Well, let's see how it all fits. For real this time. Okay, we'll get our scale bolt. I am not finding the right Allen keys here today. Alright, so you can see now we have a little bit of adjustment here, and it locks down perfect. Alright, our scale is finally mounted now. It looks good. It's solid. There's no chance of this thing moving anywhere. It doesn't bind. It works perfect. I'm really happy with that. Really happy with that. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to set up and we're going to mount our reed head. Alright, so I have a piece of scrap metal here that's it's attached to the two bolts that you would attach a follower rest to, and it's basically like a standoff plate that I've had laying around the shop. The bolt patterns are the same, and it bolted right through, right to it. As I hold this portion of it against that plate, okay, you could see it's well off of the mark here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some gauge blocks, and we're going to measure from here to this face here, and then from this face to the actual scale. And we're going to get our calculations that way, and then I'll know how much I could take off of this. Now there are 4 set screws in here, these little grub screws, and what they do is when you adjust it, you can basically rock this in any position you really need to, because there's got to be a little bit of a gap between the reader and the actual scale, and there's a shim, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But for now I just need to start getting some measurements here and see just how far off we are. So I just want to hold this firmly against the plate. Let's see, we can't get that one in. Well, we have a 100 thousandths gauge block right here, and it's not fitting in, so it's going to be less than 100 thousandths. Let me get some feeler gauges. Well, let's try this combo here. So it's really just a matter of trial and error. Alright, I think that's the magic combo right there. Let's add up all these values here. We got 20, 19, hard to read, 13, 14. I'm going to just mic this. I'm going to squeeze them together and mic it. Alright, 934 thousandths. I'm sorry, 93 4/10. Alright, so, round it to 93 thousandths. Now what we need to do is measure from this face to the scale, and see what that is. Nope. Yeah, that's too big. Back with the feeler gauges again. What's nice is it makes it easy this way. And I am tightening this a little bit, past this ratchet, just so I get a good, squeeze down. And we got 80 thousandths. So now we know that our reed head is 80 thousandths, 80 plus 93, too far. Now, as you can see, this has this has a little bit of a groove in it. So taking this thing down 100 and whatever it was, 193 thousandths, hopefully will make this flat, and that'll be good. So we're just reusing this. This was laying around the shop, and waste not, want not, right? Now we're just putting the finishing cut now. beautiful. So there's our mounting plate, all deburred. There you go, $469 and some change. We're good. Now the next operation we're going to do is, this is the plate where it sits inside, bolted to the cross slide. This is the piece that holds the scale on top. So I'm going to have to bolt it to here, and I want it to have the ability to go up and down. And I do, because it's got slots. So we're going to drill and tap 1/4 bolts. That's fine. Sometimes it slips. That's what you want it to do. Look, it's gummed up. Okay. Let me drill the other hole, and then I'll get the other one tapped. And I'll finish this one after on the bench, so we could keep moving here. Sometimes when you power tap with aluminum, you go a little bit too fast. It gums up and it binds. Alright, another one's stuck. We'll finish it right here. You know, sometimes you just got to finish them up by hand. Yeah, see this one, the chip is breaking nice. It doesn't have that clogged, gummed up binding feeling. It goes right through. Alright, let's mount this up to the lathe and see how it fits. Alright, I've mounted the little plate here to the cross slide. We got our holes drilled to accept the reed head. Now here's the slide, I'm sorry, the shim that I was talking about. This comes with the kit. It's a little plastic, let me show you, it's a little plastic spacer shim here. Okay, so it keeps the reed head offset off the magnet at a given distance. So we got our reed head bolted to the mounting bracket, which will slide up and down. And I got these little machine bolts here. Now you can see I can adjust this up and down. to square it up, you know, and I'll dial that in with the dial indicator. But the shim's on there, and I'll just get it just kind of temporary spot. Now there's a little drag on it, so I can pull the shim out. Okay. And there you have it. That reed head is not going anywhere. The scale is going nice. Out of the way here. That's just a little chip guard. There we go. What do you say we plug it in and watch some numbers scroll? Cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the cover ready here. You know, we're just going to get it roughed in, we'll get it mounted, and then you know, once the back scale is on and everything is done and we're really ready to make everything final, that's when I'm going to get the indicator, and I'm going to make sure that this top is perfectly flush and the reed head and everything like that. So let's get ready to mount the guard. Alright, what I've done now is I've measured and I've transferred the marks where I'm going to drill the holes for this to attach to the scale. So now you'll see that the kit comes with this bag labeled scale cover mounting hardware. It's one of the nice things that I'm starting to see about this DRO. I mean, look at this. Scale mounting hardware. This is the little clips that holds the cords in place, right? You know, the cables. Everything is laid out really well. The boxes, you know, they show simple mounting kit, plane adjustment bracket, scale. Everything is labeled. Everything is there's full instructions to do this, as well as you could do custom things. You know, because like I said, every machine is different. You know, they provide you with these plates, right? Use them however you need to use them. You know, they're quality. You know, they're not junk. They're not like pot metal. They look like they got a powder coated finish on them, right? I mean, and this is just blocks just to use at your disposal. Cut them up, hack them up, do whatever you need to do. Luckily, I mean, for me, I didn't need them because I just had that one piece actually laying around already. Just nice. All right. And we have it lifted off the compound, the carriage just enough so it clears it. We can call that done.